What's good, y'all? And we are finally here. We are on the last position left to rank, the centers, of course. If this is you guys' first video you're seeing, make sure you go check out the point guards, shooting guards, small forward, power forwards. I ranked them all already, and now all we got left is to do the centers. With that being said, though, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, every Wednesday I've been uploading a top 10 list, rankings and stuff like that. Now that we're done with that, let me know in the comments anything that you guys want to see me talk about, whether it's a player, a team, whatever it is. Put it down in the comments, maybe in some more rankings we could do. That's for us to worry about in the future though, so make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already, and let's get right into the rankings. And of course, as always, we're starting off with the honorable mentions here for centers with Al Horford and Jarrett Allen. I do just want to preface this real quick. I did count both Al Horford and Robert Williams as centers in this. Robert Williams, funny enough, was 13th right behind Al Horford. But because of his, injuries and stuff like that, he wasn't able to start next to Al Horford for a majority of the season. So I counted Al as the center, and of course he gets the nod for the honorable mention here. I give it to Al because it is really difficult to find a 3-and-D center in the NBA. If you think about all the centers in the NBA, not a lot can shoot the three and play defense. And Al Horford does both of those at a very high level. He was second in the entire NBA in three-point percentage at 45% from three. For your center to be able to shoot that good, that's insane. And then again, the defensive side of it, great paint defender. And I don't know why, when I look at Al Horford's body, I just don't think he can keep up on the perimeter. But he does his own. He holds up pretty well on the perimeter. Obviously, he's not a fantastic perimeter defender, but if he gets switched out there, he can kind of do what he wants. And then for Jarrett Allen, I know a lot of people are kind of down on him since he had a very shaky playoff performance against the Knicks. But I do still think that there's a lot of value in having that kind of low maintenance, just athletic, lob threat, rebounding, shot blocking big, and that's what Jarrett Allen does. He does all those little things like that. Not a flashy name, not going to do anything too crazy, but still gets the job done, and that's where he is right outside the top 10. And kicking off our top 10 is Nic Claxton. He had an incredible breakout season for the Nets this year. This was Claxton's first season fully starting for the Nets, and before KD left, he was in DPOY conversations. I'll be honest, he was towards the back of those conversations, but he was still in the conversation. With first year starting, that's really insane. A lot of the things I said about Jarrett Allen can go for Nic Claxton as well. Super athletic, lob threat, block shots, rebound, just a low maintenance type of guy. But on top of that, I do think Nic Claxton has a little bit more foot speed to be able to work around the perimeter and switch, make him just a more versatile defender. And then again on offense, he's very low maintenance. A lot of his shots, pretty much all of his shots, are either dunks or layups, lobs, pick and rolls, different things like that off the rebounds. And because of that, he led the entire NBA in field goal percentage. It was just above 70%. Moving on to number 9, we have Nikola Vucevic here from the Bulls. The versatile big man had a pretty solid season. Vucevic was a big interior presence for the Bulls. A lot of times on his post-ups on offense, he's just too big for whoever's guarding him. And it's kind of funny because he is so big, but he's not too much of a power guy. He's more of a finesse. He really likes his little flip shots, hook shots, different things like that, little push, whatever. And he has incredible touch, so that really just converts a lot of the time. And then on top of that, he is a rebound machine, averaged 11 rebounds per game this season. Just a double-double guy every single night, pretty much going to get you a double-double with the scoring and the rebounding. And then he can also stretch the floor from 3. This year, he shot a little under 35%, so it's not the best. But for a center, that's not bad. He shoots a pretty high volume of them too, so, you got to go out there and guard him. Just gives another dynamic to the offense. And then finally, if you guys saw on the little stats graphic, he did play 82 games this season, which, with a lot of stars doing rest and getting injured and different things like that, it is a very big accomplishment to do 82 games. So shout out to him, a little clap up. The only other guys that made my top 10 list that played 82 games this season was Mikal Bridges, who played 83, so shout out to him. And then Derek White was an honorable mention for shooting guards, so if you want to count that, it's whatever. Moving up to number 8, we have DeAndre Ayton. Haha, you get that one? Yeah, I know, it's pretty funny. A lot of fans hate on DeAndre Ayton, but he still is one of the best centers in the league. Where I think a lot of people get frustrated with DeAndre is the fact that he's one of the most talented big men in the league. And, he plays good. He's one of the top centers, but if he played up to his talent, he could be so much higher. He's got some of the best touch as a big man in the league, pulling up for mid-ranges, his floaters. He likes to do a lot of more finesse shots instead of using his athleticism, but that's what I'm talking about. On top of all the finesse that he has and the touch, He is super athletic, can jump out the gym, strong, big body. He could be forceful too, but he just decides or chooses or whatever it is to just be more of a finesse big. He has best of both worlds, and that's why I think a lot of fans are frustrated with him. And now with the Suns having KD, D-Book, and Bradley Beal, I'm going to be looking for DeAndre Ayton to impact the game in more ways than just scoring. You know, he is a great rebounder, double-double guy, so I'm sure he's going to have to be really big on those boards. But then again, shot blocking and rim protection, I really want to see him take that next step because he's shown that he can block shots with his athleticism, his instincts, long arms. Again, big, strong body. He can deter people away from the rim. So I want to see him put more focus into that. Of course, he will still get his offensive opportunities, but I assume they're going to be way less considering now you insert Bradley Beal, who's an elite scorer. You know, you already had KD and D-Book. I think there's just a lot of mouths to feed there, so I'm looking for DeAndre to expand his game past just impacting scoring-wise. And here at number 7, we have Brook Lopez, Splash Mountain. An incredible season from him. Very unexpected. So remember when I was talking about Al Horford, how I was saying he's a 3-and-D center, and that's extremely hard to find? Brook Lopez is an even better 3-and-D center. Bars, damn. Of course, he was a Defensive Player of the Year finalist this season. I believe he was second, if I'm not mistaken. He just had the paint on lockdown. He averaged 2.5 blocks, but that doesn't even tell the whole story. A lot like Rudy Gobert back in his prime when, you know, he got all those Defensive Player of the Years. He wasn't blocking too many shots, but just every single time someone came into the paint, he would just be there with his big arms and his, you know, just positioning and big body. And people would just get in there and be like, I'm bugging. I'm not going up on you. And just go right outside the paint. That's what Brook Lopez was on this season. I think it was the Mavericks. I have such a vivid memory of these guys just going into the paint. Brook Lopez, meet him right there, and they'd be like, never mind. Keep the dribble alive, go back out. And just being able to deter people away from not even attempting a layup is an incredible skill to have. Where he differs from Rudy Gobert, though, is the fact that he shoots 37% from 3. I think Brook Lopez is exactly what you want in your role-playing center. Unless you're trying to run your offense through your center, you want Brook Lopez on your team. Getting closer and closer to that top 5, here we have new Boston Celtic Kristaps Porzingis. I think a lot of people underrate the season that Porzingis had. He really had an incredible year. I know he was getting a little bit of all-star buzz, you know, around when voting was happening. But after that, I feel like no one talked about him, and he still continued to play amazingly. His three-point shot looked way better this year, and that's kind of the biggest thing that made him such a unicorn, being 7'3" and being able to pull up from deep and just cash. He got that ability back. And just all around, he looked way more efficient, whether it was in the mid-range or in his post-ups, whether, you know, the little turnaround mid-range shots, or getting to the basket and finishing over people, through people. He just looked way more comfortable in his offense. And where I think he's going to make the biggest impact for the Boston Celtics, his rim protection, it was elite this year. When you see Porzingis coming along help side and getting to the rim, going to meet you there, just pack it up, bro. Because if you don't pack it up, he going to pack you up. And here we are officially in the top 5, and coming in at number 5, we have Bam Adebayo. When I think of Bam Adebayo, the first thing that pops into my mind is just the word versatility. He's got a big 6'9" frame, super strong, but he's just super athletic and quick at the same time to make him mobile. You know, he's a great finisher. He's got his mid-range pull-up, rebounding, his defense, just literally can do anything on the court. And this season, I think he definitely got more aggressive on offense, you know, again, with his mid-range pull-ups and his just kind of creating his own offense a little bit more. But still, where he really pops out of your screen is on the defense, especially in Miami zone, where he just kind of plays free safety out there, just covering ground. And like I said before, the combination of his big 6'9" frame and then his just athleticism and quickness to keep up, he can really guard 1 through 5. I think if I had to choose one player to guard anyone in the NBA, I'd pick Bam Adebayo. That's how versatile he is. And a lot of people give all the credit to Jimmy Butler for the Heat's big, you know, 8th seed to the finals run, and rightfully so. He was incredible. But Bam Adebayo also was very, very good. A lot of those games when Jimmy wasn't going, he was able to get to his mid-range bag and, you know, get his offense going. Again, holding down the defense like he normally does. Just all around a great season for Bam. This one might ruffle some feathers here, but at number 4, I got Domantas Sabonis. An incredible season for both Domas and the Kings. I know Sabonis left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths after the playoffs. You know, he just really didn't look good in pretty much any of those games, if we're being honest. But regardless of how he performed in the playoffs, that does not take away from the fantastic regular season he had as the main engine running Sacramento's half-court offense. Similar to what I was saying about Vucevic earlier, Sabonis is such a force down low on his post-ups that it's really hard to guard, and where he adds an extra fold into that is his elite playmaking ability. You saw his stats before. He's a great scorer, super efficient, but he also averaged 7 assists per game, and a lot of that is just getting the ball in the post, surveying, guy cuts, boom, hits him right there. Just playing out of the post a lot like Jokic. He led the league in rebounds per game, so that kind of adds even more onto his interior force. Where a lot of people want to see him improve is either shooting the ball, whether it's a corner three or whatever. He was efficient this year shooting the ball in the regular season at least. He just doesn't shoot them a lot. And then also on the defensive side of the ball, just kind of a lot like how they were talking about Jokic a few years ago. You got to get your foot speed there. You got to be able to guard a pick and roll, guard out in space at least a little bit to, be on the court in the playoffs. So hopefully he improves those, but I do think he's going to bounce back this season and have an incredible year. Moving into the top three, this is where we get to the elite of the elite. We have Anthony Davis. AD is the only guy on this list that missed a significant amount of games, but that just goes to show you how good he played this season. I think this is the closest we've seen Anthony Davis play to the level he was playing at when the Lakers won that 2020 championship. I don't think it's much of a coincidence that AD was at the peak of his powers back then and they won, and then he was the closest he was to that this year, and they made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Anthony Davis is the key to the Lakers being a good team and being a championship contender. I don't think this is much of a hot take, but I think that Anthony Davis is the best defending center. He's very similar to Bam in the fact that they're just both super versatile with their athleticism and their big bodies. They can keep up with the perimeters and hold it down low. But the biggest thing is Anthony Davis is damn near a 7-footer. Bam's only 6'9". AD is way taller than him, way stronger than him. Longer arms, can cover more space. He was an elite rim protector this season, blocking anything that went into the paint. And then he also was out in passing lanes this year, using his wingspan to just go out there, grab balls out thin air, and then just kick it down court, get easy offense going for the Lakers. Defense isn't the only thing that AD does though. This season was his most efficient scoring season in his entire career. Funnily enough, this is one of his worst three-point shooting seasons. He did not shoot the ball that well. But in the mid-range and finishing, he was super efficient here. Also, very much focusing on getting boards this year. He didn't play enough games to qualify, but he technically did average more rebounds per game than Sabonis, who led the league in rebounding. So that goes to show you how much of a force he was on the interior this year. But like I said before, he is the key to the Lakers being good and being a contender. So hopefully he can stay healthy this season. He just got that big old extension, so shout out to him getting paid. Hopefully you can stay healthy, AD. And I'm sure as many of you guys expect at this point, at number 2, we have Joel Embiid, the process, the MVP this season. Shout out to Joel. This is the second year in a row that Joel Embiid led the league in scoring, and I believe last year when he did it, he was the first center since Shaquille O'Neal to do it, so, he's in very high company up there. A lot of people's biggest problem with Joel is the fact that he gets a lot of his scoring from the free throw line. A lot of people call him a free throw hunter, which I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it does look like he's doing that. He'll just grab the ball and just do one of those, rip through things to get the foul and get to the free throw line. And it is frustrating, but at the same time, you can't blame him because he is such a big force and he is so skilled on his, just pivots and his up and unders, pump fakes, finishing. People foul him. People just cannot guard him and foul him. Don't get that twisted. But he can score from plenty of other ways too, not just from the free throw line. He's a great finisher at 7'1", I think it is. Super strong with the finishing. He's got the finesse, like I said too, so he can pull up in the mid-range, little fadeaways sometimes too. His push shots, floaters, he's done here and there a little bit. He also shoots from the three-point line. One of my favorite things for Joel, I think he's the best center at the pump fake from the three-point line, where he'll go up and then just kind of go off the dribble right by you and just attack the rim. I love when he does that. He is incredible at that. But Joel finally did get that MVP, and he's still behind a certain name that we will get to next, who is ranked number 1. I'm sure you guys know already. The next step for Joel, though, is playoff success. A lot of people, are kind of getting on him now because he hasn't made it to the conference finals. I hope you do, Joel. Well, honestly, I hope you don't, because I hope the Knicks make it past him. But you guys get what I'm saying. I hope the best for Joel. Hopefully, he can continue to just take those steps and keep climbing. And I'm sure as many of you guys expected, the number 1 best center in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, Finals MVP this season. Shout out to you, brother. Before Joel won the MVP this season, Jokic was coming off back-to-back MVP seasons, and he placed second in the MVP voting this year, so he just barely missed out on being the first three-peat MVP since, I think it was Larry Bird back in the day, so, you know, shout out Larry Legend. He also won his first championship this year, his first Finals MVP. Incredible season for Nikola Jokic. I think it's safe to say that what Jokic is doing right now for the Nuggets is the closest thing we've seen since LeBron on the Cavs. And what I mean by that is Jokic deadass just does everything for the Nuggets. He scores, he rebounds, he playmakes, he defends a little bit too. He literally does everything. And then in the playoffs this year, he got his team back healthy and they just mowed through everyone that they encountered. Jokic really just looked unstoppable. He would just go down the court, he'd start off games, and he would just be playmaking, just getting everyone else involved, not even looking to score, and the Nuggets would be winning. Then guys would be like, oh, let's, they key into that. Let's stop him from playmaking. Let's see if he can beat him. And then he would just drop 50 points. Like, it was nothing. I think it's safe to say that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the entire NBA, in the entire world, the best basketball player, Nikola Jokic. And I think it's fitting that he was the last guy announced on the last video. Let me know what you guys think of the rankings down in the comments down below. And like I said at the beginning of the video, now obviously we're done all the positions, so let me know what you guys want to see me talk about next. Players, teams, whatever, other rankings, whatever it is, down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch y'all.